So Ohio State headed on the road to West Lafayette to play Purdue, who was 2-7, 0-6 coming into this game. And Ohio State they sleptwalked a little bit in the second half, but they cruised to a 34-10 win. Let's talk about it. So Julian with another 80+% completion rate game in the books. He also passed for over 300 yards today. He passed for 303, had a touchdown, and it would have been 2 touchdowns if he didn't throw that, or maybe a field goal if he didn't throw that absolutely terrible interception at the goal line. I mean, he tried to throw it in. There was 3 layers of defense there, and can't have that. Maybe it was good for him to have another interception, but aside from that, yeah, he went 27 for 33, 303 in the air. So a pretty good day from him, especially for what the play calling was. On the ground was okay. Again, very inconsistent. Bo Jackson, the first play of scrimmage for Ohio State's offense, had a 70-yard rushing touchdown, first play of the game that got called back off of a very whatever Jeremiah Smith block in the back penalty, which ended in a 3-and-out after Mylan Graham dropped a pass on third down from Julian Sand. Julian's completion rate's 80-something%. I don't know what his completion rate. There was a couple drop, so I don't know what his adjusted completion rate would be. Probably in the 85, which is what it is for the entire season as adjusted completion rate. But yeah, on the ground, Bo had 14 carries for 75 yards. Isaiah West, and I'm actually very surprised that Bo had 14 carries, because I'm kind of where do those carries come from? Because every time I look up at the screen, because I'm watching this game and then I'm watching the Penn State Indiana game, I'm looking up on the screen and Isaiah West is on the field every snap. So to see that he only had 9 carries is very surprising. I thought he was on the field for more, but Isaiah West had 9 carries for 60 yards. James Peeble had 8 for 26. CJ Donaldson had 5 for 12 and 2 touchdowns. Lincoln Keynotes obviously had that 1 rushing touchdown. And my kind of thing with this is Bo and Isaiah are freshmen, so they can't really complain that much about stats and stuff. But man, CJ Donaldson does nothing the entire game, yet he gets the entire he gets all of the rushing touchdowns. Bo Jackson only has 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. You want to guess how many CJ Donaldson has? 9. CJ Donaldson has 9 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it is and they're all at the goal line, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's had one long rushing touchdown. They've all been at the goal line where everyone else does all the work, and then he gets to scavenge all the stats. So that's he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a nice dude. He has some personality. I just don't think he's very good. And I think he is taking up. I don't know. I don't think you can rotate 4 running backs. I think you can only really rotate 3. And I'd rather have James and CJ. And Bo has been better overall. CJ has been more physical, which helps down in the goal line. I get CJ is a bigger back, but he's not even good at being a bigger back. He just kind of gets blown up all the time. The only thing I think he's good for is pass pro. So, but I don't know. They want to keep the senior happy, I guess, and give him all the stats, even though he has no yards. Receiving, Jeremiah Smith had a record day for receptions at 10, which I thought was surprising. That's his career high ever was 10. And obviously that was because Cardinal Tate did not play in this game. They were worrying about an injury. He felt tight in practice and over the week in warm-ups. So he does not play in this game. It's all Jeremiah Smith. And Jeremiah Smith, you saw it on the thumbnail. He had 2 or 3, maybe 4 incredible plays. He obviously had the contested catch that he got down at the 1-yard line at the end of the first quarter. He had the long passing 50-yard touchdown throw from Julian. He had the one, and this one didn't count because there was a flag and the yardage gave us more yards than the catch, which would have gave him 11 catches. But Jeremiah gets tackled in his route and he just grabs the ball as he's on the ground. And then he had the toe tap right before half to get us in field goal range, which was a very nice interception. And that's kind of what I wanted to see, more acrobatic because Jeremiah has been so physical, and to see him, because like Carnell Tate's the very acrobatic guy, kind of like a Buka last year, and to see Jeremiah Smith do a little bit of that was like, that was nice to see. And instead of just him just like going up and contesting everybody, seeing him doing a little bit more of technique stuff than strength was nice to see, to kind of round out that that capabilities and that skill set. The one thing that actually really surprised me for this game was that Max Clare. This is actually what I said in the my predictions for this game, was that I don't think the game plan is going to be centered around Max Clare the same way that it was surrounded around Carnell Tate when he went to Northwestern. There was a lot more emotion and a lot more like reasons why that was happening. If you know Carnell Tate's story, you know what I'm talking about. And this was just, I mean, like that was Carnell Tate's home city. Max Clare grew up in Cincinnati and I think lived in like Kentucky. He didn't live in Indiana. He just went to Purdue. So what I said in that video was I don't think he's going to have like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I thought he would get 1, which he didn't. But I thought that like in the Penn State game last week, we saw a Bennett Christian touchdown. And I thought that in scoring plays that had the potential of being a tight end touchdown, instead of them rotating the tight end, it's going to be Max Clare. I mean, I don't have the snap count, but that's actually what it seemed like it was going to be. Max Clare was on the field a lot. He had 5 catches for 59 yards and 0 touchdowns. In the second half, they really did not give him the ball at all. Everyone's like saying, like, what did he do to Brian Hartline? I don't know if Brian Hartline was upset. There wasn't seem like a drop. And we're still kind of waiting for a Max Clare breakout game. He is going to come back next year. I don't think he's draft ready. He can, especially when Carnell's going to be gone next year, and we're going to be focusing a lot, because we really thought the tight end was going to be really big this year, but then Carnell turned out to be like the second best receiver in the country behind Jeremiah. And so now it's kind of really much those two instead of Max Clare. And I think Max Clare next year will be a big part of this offense, a lot bigger than he is this year. I mean, he could still develop, the season's not, there's still a lot of football to be played. But we're still waiting to see like a big tight end game like what we saw against Clemson in 2020, where you had like Jeremy Ruckert for 2 touchdowns, and then I don't remember his name, but there was another tight end that had like 2 touchdowns, and you had like 4 tight end touchdowns in a playoff game. Since Carnell Tate was out, we got to see a lot from the backup receivers, which was nice. We saw a lot of Bryson Rogers. He had 2 catches for 30 yards. Brandon Innes had 3 for 26. And then Myron Graham had 1 for 20. He also had a drop that led to a 3-and-out on the first drive after the Bo Jackson thing was called back. He only had 2 catches for 6 yards. But we saw a lot of Nate Roberts. They gave him the ball as the full. He's not a fullback. He's a tight end. He's a freshman tight end. But he is the starter for the fullback. We saw them give him a rush in the red zone. He didn't get in, but we saw him get a rush. He got 2 catches. So it looks like, even though I think Max Clare was the main guy, Jelani Thurman got a catch. We have not. He's been very disappointing. We're still waiting for him because he's so talented. We're just waiting for him to have a breakout. But we did see a lot of Nate Roberts, which was nice. For Purdue, they had a passing touchdown at the very end of the game, where Leroy Roker, I don't know why he's in the game, but Leroy Roker, the freshman, I think corner, or is he safety or corner, just got cooked, which is the second time he's got cooked. He was also the guy that missed the tackle that led to that 4th and 19 fake punt first down. He was the guy that missed the tackle that allowed that. So he's done nothing. He's had 2 blunders. So that's where Purdue got their 10. It's against the 3s. So, you can't be too upset. Purdue didn't really do anything on the ground. Ryan Brown actually had, he did okay. He had a couple rushes. He had 3 for 27. On the first play of the game, I think, or like the first drive, he had a nice little rush. But in pass, he went 10 for 20. He had a pick. Jermaine picked that ball out of the after Caleb tipped it. And I just want to talk about Caleb for a second. So this dude got absolutely saved by the refs last week against Penn State. And he comes into this game and does everything in his power to get knocked out of the game again. He absolutely, in the first quarter, destroyed this one guy and just boom. I mean, he just like knocked this dude out. He hit the guy wanted to pick. He hit that dude hard. I mean, I'm like, Caleb, you were about to get thrown out for the first half of this game, and now you're trying to get thrown out for the entire game. He was just laying the boom the entire game. It was awesome. So Caleb had a nice game, and happy to see him do good. Aside from that, it was a sloppy game, and it was sloppy and it was boring, and that's always like the worst. It's just like, I don't want to watch most of this. I don't want to see CJ Donaldson rush for 2 yards and then when you throw a pick, just like, oh, I'm just trying. This game was so boring. This game, so like I predicted 41-7, which if you don't throw that interception, it's like 41-10, 41 to, like, you know what I mean? I was very close. I just thought we were going to play cleaner. We didn't play as clean, which is why the score is what it was. But I don't think there was anything else in this game. Special teams was okay. And I was talking about this when I was watching the game. I do not think we're going to see Caleb Downs returning at all, which is so disappointing since he was the guy that returned a punt last year. I will say, if we play Indiana in the Big Ten Championship, I do wonder if they'll put Caleb back there. That would be funny. But it seems like they have really settled on Brandon Ennis being the punt returner. Like last year, there wasn't a single punt return. You had a little bit of Brandon Ennis. You had Caleb Downs. I think you had Travion Henderson back there a lot. I think this year it is like Brandon Ennis and then sometimes Mylan Graham, and then maybe we'll see Jeremiah or Caleb. I think we did see Jeremiah once this year though. So, aside from that, this was the first time Ohio State didn't cover against the spread. The spread was like 30.5, 29.5. It's 30.5. And Ohio State was up by 31 when they allowed the touchdown. So they only won by 24. And the spread for next week, the UCLA game, is the exact same over-under at 49 or 48. And the spread's at 30.5. So they're predicting a very similar game. That game will be on NBC at 7:30. I wanted to go to this game. I don't think I'm going to go to this game. But this will be Nico's homecoming back to the shoe at night, which is awesome. I would love to see that. And I hope they play Rocky Top in the stadium. That would be so funny. Ever since the past couple years, maybe since Ross Bork has come here, we've been a lot more trolly. You know, the hey, nah, like goodbye song. They've been playing that more often. They've been playing, not playing, but last week against Penn State, they would show Jim Knowles, everyone's booing him. They show Matt Patricia. So like they're doing more trolling. They're doing like they'll show the opposing fans with like crying emojis on them when we were beating them. So like, I'd say it's been more trolly recently. So it would be funny if DJ were to play, or whoever controls it, to play Rocky Top. The AP poll isn't out yet, but Ohio State should still be at number 1. I could actually see A&M taking over Indiana just because of how Indiana struggled. But yeah, Ohio State, if they keep winning, especially if they win against Michigan at the end of the season, they will be the bona fide number 1 team in the country. I would be shocked because the AP poll, I know Ohio State's going to be number 1. I would be shocked if A&M was the number 1 team in the country. And also, the last thing I wanted to talk about. So, Indiana, and we'll talk about this in the video coming out later today, about how you have Indiana, who played horrible against Penn State, aside from that last drive, should have lost. I mean, literally, they should have lost that game. I mean, he gets sacked the first play of that final drive. I'm like, oh my God, Penn State's going to win. They come back, and then Fernando just kind of throws a simple pass, and then the receiver makes an absolute amazing catch, maybe one of the catches of the year. And then it's, oh my God, Indiana's built different. Look how they came back up against Penn State. Well, I'm like, well, one thing, Fernando didn't make that catch. So also, people are like, give Fernando the Heisman. Fernando didn't make that catch. The receiver did. All Fernando did was throw the ball. Like, well, that's his Heisman moment. So, but like when Julian Sand does it, it's, well, Jeremiah Smith. It's Jeremiah Smith. It's not you. You didn't do anything. And then when Fernando does it, it's just the Ohio State fatigue is so obvious. It's so funny. And it's so frustrating that everyone is glazing the hell out of Indiana for almost losing to Penn State when Ohio State blew them out by 24 points last week, and everyone's complaining that they were only up by 3 at half when you had a fumble, and that's why they got to 14 anyways. And I was like, whatever. We'll see you in Indy when we boat race you. Go Bucks. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in After the Whistle later today. Thank you. Also subscribe. Forgot to say that. Go Bucks.